This question is for Her Grace Sukhawaha Mataji. I'm always trying to please the devotees and the Lord. I have full faith on the Lord. But there's one thing that always comes to my mind, that I'm a very fallen soul. I'm afraid of going away from Krishna consciousness and devotees. I'm trying to do my sadhana well, chant well, but I always feel very guilty that I'm a very, very fallen soul. What should I do?
Sometimes we equate feeling very, very fallen as being humble. And there's nothing wrong with feeling fallen, because certainly here we are. There's no hiding from anybody. But if our consciousness is focused on how fallen we are, it can actually become a distraction from our Krishna consciousness. Almost like the opposite side of a coin. If we think we're great, okay, I know that's not good to think I'm great because that's being proud, so I won't do that. But if we think I'm so fallen, that can be the opposite side of the coin. It's still kind of thinking about how I am. And it can be a trick to distract us from actually thinking of Krishna. At least that's what I found in my own Krishna consciousness. So you say you're feeling very guilty. Prabhupada explains being a soul inside a human body is it's an embarrassment to the soul to be in the human body. But here we are. So rather than just focusing on how fallen I am and focusing on that, just pray to Krishna and concentrate, Krishna, what service can I do? And gradually, little by little by little, Krishna lifts us up. So it's really a matter of, where is my consciousness at? If my consciousness is on me, I'm so great or I'm so fallen, it's still on me, and it's not the real me, it's not the soul, it's the false me. And that doesn't give us any liberation. It actually can kind of cause more bondage, but it almost seems Krishna conscious, almost, but so really just saying, okay, so here I am fallen. I don't have to focus on that. What can I do to uplift myself? Let me read something about Krishna. So I hope that answers your question, and if you want, you can talk to me more about it later. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. This question is for His Holiness Radhanath-Swami Maharaj. From the scriptures, we come to know that Indra is involved in so many offenses. At the same time, he is also the king of all demigods and has such an exalted position. Why does Krishna give him such an exalted position, in spite of knowing that he always keeps committing so many offenses?
Before answering your question, I offer my respectful obeisances to Lord Indra. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindubhya eva cha patithanam papanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna. Finding faults with Indra is like criticizing the marks on the moon. Because he's doing such immense, amazing service for such a long time. And in many scriptures, Indra is praised, only praised, for the glorious service that he does. But in Vaishnava literatures, Indra, who is very, very dear to Lord Krishna, is put in a position to teach every devotee practical, essential lessons that we must learn. That however great we are, we should never become proud. We have to be very, very cautious of Maya. Sometimes Indra, due to his false pride, his wealth, his power, his beauty, his position, he commits offenses to great souls. That applies to all of us. Indra means Lord, controller. We all come to this world because we want to be Indras. We all remain in this world because we want to be Indras. A husband thinks, I am the Indra of my family. I am the master. I am the controller. This home is my planet. Hare Krishna. But that false pride could be the source of great suffering. If he even offends his family members unnecessarily, there will be karmic reaction. And if his wife is a devotee, it could be Vaishnava aparad. And the women may be thinking, I am the Indra of this house. Yes? My husband thinks he is. And I control him by allowing him to think he is. Only by my power does he think he is. And the more he thinks he is, the more I am. Yes? And the little children, they think they're Indras too. When I cry, everyone stops everything and comes to me. We all want to be controller. We all want to be proprietor. So it is the innate disease within everyone that we want to be the Lord. So Indra is a very powerful Lord. And because he's so great, Krishna can teach lessons to him that are so prominent and so famous that they go down in history in order to teach us. Right? How many husband Indras in some household who commit offenses and fall down? How many happen every day? Well, who cares? Are they in the Puranas? Because they're insignificant people. But Indra, when he does it, it's world history. Yes? Just like if the Prime Minister of India or the President of the United States, something tragic happens to them. It's world news. If Mr. Patel, who lives on Bulabai Desai Road, if something happens to him, nobody cares. So Krishna wants to focus on the most important lessons that we must learn, and he does it through Indra. And actually, in one sense, it shows how dear Indra is to the Lord. Prabhupada quotes a Bengali proverb that when the mother wants to teach the daughter-in-law, she does it by chastising the daughter. Hare Krishna. Because the daughter-in-law is coming to the house, and if you chastise the daughter directly, she may become so confused and so hurt she doesn't learn the lesson. But you teach the daughter, and the daughter-in-law sees, this is what I should not do. So to give utmost respect to Indra, let us look at him from this perspective. It may not always be the case, but it's safe for us to see it through this perspective. That he's so dear to the Lord, that the Lord is teaching the world the most important lessons to learn through him, so that we don't have to go through it. Sometimes Indra, because of he has so much, he also has a great enjoying propensity. And Krishna wants to teach you could never be satisfied by any amount of sense gratification. How much sense gratification Indra has. But still, he's disguising himself as rishis just to have affairs with the rishis' wives. Why? He has Sachi. He has apsaras dancing all around him. Why does he have to do that? Because he's like you and me. He's trying to enjoy. He's not trying to live a simple life and make his priorities right. Due to pride, and due to lust, and due to anger, and due to envy, and due to fear, Indra is always getting in trouble. Sometimes even when everything's right and nice. If some Muni is performing tapasya, he thinks he's doing it because he wants what I have. Actually, the rishi doesn't want anything to do with what Indra has. Indra makes him sick. Living in Swarga Loka, these rishis are doing tapasya because they want mukti. But Indra's thinking, because of his pride, because of his envy, if he's doing tapasya, it's because he wants my position. And then he commits tremendous offenses against that rishi. There's the famous story of Nara Narayan Rishi at Badrik Ashram. They were performing such austerities. And Indra was thinking like that. They're doing this austerity because they'll become so powerful they will conquer my abode. Because I'm so attached to everything I have, everyone must want what I have. The world is a mirror of our own consciousness. We see others according to the way we think. Yes? If you're a crooked person, the tendency is to see everyone as having crooked motivations. And if you're a very innocent person, your nature is to trust everyone because everyone's innocent. Yes? That's why Brahmins generally are very trusting toward people. So it's not good for Brahmins to have administrative positions because they'll be cheaters. Kshatriyas, they're very, very keen to just analyze and discriminate who's honest, who's a cheater, what is his motive, what is he doing. Whereas Brahmins don't ask those questions so much. They just take it for granted, everyone's good, and teach them. So we see the world very much through the mirror of our own mind. If we're envious, we think that others are motivated by envy, even if they're not. So Narayan Rishi, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, what does he want? What Indra has. But he's doing tapasya in Badrika Ashram for the purpose of purifying the whole world through his tapasya. And Indra is thinking that he's doing this tapasya to get power to conquer me and take my abode. So Indra wants to make Narayan Rishi fall down to Maya. So he sends beautiful heavenly damsels down. And Narayan Rishi looks at these heavenly damsels. And from his body, he creates Urvasi, the most beautiful of all the heavenly damsels. And all the other apsaras are just, they were like fireflies compared to the sun, compared to Urvasi's beauty. It is right out of his body. And then he said, bring her back to Indra and say this is my gift to him. Because he's attracted, he thinks I'm attracted. Well, here, let him have. So that is Indra. And then Indra becomes, he has Cupid shooting arrows at Narayan Rishi. And Narayan Rishi's just out from here. And then Indra realizes, and he comes and he begs forgiveness, and he's scared as anything. He understands, I'm playing with fire. I've just made a great offense. So yes, we should know that Indra, he is a great devotee. But because he's a great devotee, in a particular position, as the King of Heavens, he's so specially empowered by Krishna to teach every aspiring devotee what are the pitfalls and obstacles to devotional service, and to be very, very careful. Not to be envious, not to be proud, not to make offenses, not to be materially attached, not to think yourself greater than others. And Srimad Bhagavatam are the most important lessons in the whole creation. It's the cream of all Vedic literature. Srimad Bhagavatam Amalam Puranam. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Lord who is teaching the highest principles of devotional service. And he is teaching that there is no scripture in all of creation that is important as Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur said if all the literatures in the world were to vanish, but Srimad Bhagavatam would remain, then human society would have everything it needs to attain spiritual perfection. And it is in Srimad Bhagavatam that Shukadev Goswami specially selects story after story about the mistakes of Indra. Why? To teach us. So we should offer our most respectful obeisances to Indra, because he is the instrument of the Lord's mercy to us to teach the path of Krishna consciousness. Through great souls like Prahlad, Dhruva, Pandavas, Ambarish, Rantidev, Vrajbasis, Pachetas, the Lord teaches us what is to be done. And through Indra, he teaches us what is not to be done. We need both. And someone has to teach us that. And Indra is our guru to teach us what is not to be done in these instances. And he's very dear to the Lord. He's empowered to do so. Indra Maharaj ki jai.
Jai. Thank you, Maharaj, for that wonderful answer. The next question is to His Holiness Chandramauli Swami Maharaj. It is said that if a person engages in sense gratification, he'll be punished by Yamraj. Sense gratification is done by the body, and the body and the soul are different. So we can understand that Yamraj can punish the body. But can Yamraj also do something to our soul? Please enlighten me, Maharaj. This devotee is asking a question.
Srimad Bhagavatam explains that the soul can never be affected by anything material. The identification, the misidentification, we should say, with the body as the self is the illusion that we are being punished or we are being given some type of enjoyment. The soul is always in its natural position, distinct from any material association or affection. And Krishna very carefully and systematically explains that in the 2nd chapter of Bhagavad Gita. How soul can never be withered by the wind, wet by water, burnt by fire, destroyed by any weapon. Krishna makes it clear by giving example after example after example how the soul is always distinct from anything in this material world. But it's the illusion or our identification with the body as the self that brings the soul into contact with Maya, and that illusion covers us. So anything that happens to the body is not happening to the soul. Just like the perfect example is a dream. In the state of dreaming, you're something that ultimately you are not on your regular day-to-day life in your waking consciousness. But the dream state becomes the state of consciousness where we forget everything else of our waking consciousness. And therefore we identify what's happening to us in the dream. But it's a dream, that's all. So when we come out of the dream, we realize it was just a dream. And we may have been chased by a tiger in a dream, or we may be enjoying some type of sense gratification in the dream, but it's never happening, really. It's all a dream. So then the same principle is applied to this, what we call reality, or the day-to-day life in the material world. Nothing can happen to the soul except we dream, and this is the illusion, this is the effect of the material energy, Maya, that these things are happening. So when Yamaraj takes the sinful living entity in its subtle body to be punished, again, the subtle body is still under the conception that, I am the body. It's the subtle form of existence. So the mind, the intelligence, the false ego. And so that suffering is being experienced on that level, but the soul, again, is distinct from that suffering. So in any situation, the soul is never punished or rewarded. But due to the misidentification with the soul with the body, in any realm of the material energy, it's experiencing these various types of effects of the material energy. And Yamaraj, he's a devotee. So he's not a punisher. He can't punish the soul. The soul is under the care of the spiritual energy. And it's under the care of Daivi Shakti, as long as it takes shelter of that. So, no. The answer to the question is no. In all situations, the soul is simply distinct from anything material. It's just the illusion that these things are happening. And this is a very important point, because if you can realize this, you're free. Because anything that's happening to you is happening to your body, not to your soul. What's happening to the soul is what happens when we take shelter of the spiritual energy. Then the soul becomes free from the bodily conception of life, and then the soul starts to awaken to its natural, pristine, pure consciousness of Krishna, gradually. So all this other experiences we're having, it's all part of the illusion, that's all. As soon as we kick out the illusion, then we come to the reality.
Thank you, Maharaj. The next question is for His Grace Soma Prabhu. How does one become steady and enthusiastic in one's Krishna consciousness?
Well, this is something that I struggle with. So this is Krishna definitely arranged this question for me. I need this for my own purification. Because everything is based on desire, and you have to want it. And the more you want it, the easier it is, because Krishna is fulfilling everyone's desire since time immemorial. So if you're wanting, desiring, you actually develop a greed for engaging in devotional service. And Krishna will fulfill that desire. So it's up to us to do, whatever we can to increase that desire. One time, someone asked Srila Prabhupada, how do you become sincere? And he just said, by being sincere. And another time, they asked Srila Prabhupada the same question, how do you become sincere? And he said, well, how do you become a thief? You have to steal. So, becoming steady in Krishna consciousness is a sign of advancement. I'm not there yet. I want to be there. I ask for all your blessings that I can become that. And that there's a verse in the Bhagavatam that it says the devotional service is unmotivated and uninterrupted. And that's real devotional service. That's pure devotional service. And we should all strive for that. And just like a child who's learning how to walk, it's natural that a child will fall. But if the child stays down, then it never learns to walk. It has to get up and keep practicing. So just to keep practicing devotional service and have that desire and that prayer to render some devotional service, eventually you will become steady. So, thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. The next question is for His Grace Mahamuni Prabhu. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna describes divine and demoniac qualities. How do we deal with a person who has all the demoniac qualities? All our instructions, advice, discussions seem to fail. I'm asking this question because I have one person who is in my relationships, one of my relatives, and I'm finding great difficulty in dealing with him because he has almost all of these demoniac qualities. So how do we deal with such a person?
I don't. Well, it's... There was one girl came to me. She was a disciple of Sridhar Maharaj, and he had asked me to help him with some of his disciples. And so I would give them Bhagavad Gita classes, and we read the whole Bhagavad Gita. We went through the Nectar of Devotion, and I tried to arrange their marriages. And this particular girl, Maharaj asked me, I'm sannyasi, you have to help me. You know, I can't help. I can't get them married. They have to be married. Their fathers don't want them to marry devotees. So I tried very hard to arrange marriages for this girl, and I was unsuccessful, and I had to go back to the United States. So her father arranged for her to marry this man, and they moved into the house of the father. And there was the brother-in-law and his wife, the father-in-law and her new husband. And the father-in-law had all demoniac qualities. She would cook the bhoga and prepare it for Krishna, and she'd set up the little altar, and the father-in-law would come in and knock all the pictures off the altar. Get this stuff out of my house, he would shout. Stop praying over the food, he would shout at her. And so when I came, she came to me crying and said, I don't know what to do. She said, Maharaj told me my service was to my husband. And at that time she had a new baby and she didn't know what to do. And I was almost as bewildered as I am now when you ask this question. So I encouraged her to simply continue with her service to her spiritual master. If she can't offer the food in the open, offer in her mind to Krishna. Prepare all the bhoga for Krishna and offer it in her mind to Krishna. And maybe somehow or another this person will get some agyata sukriti by eating the prasad. But just keep fixed in your service. Chant your rounds. Follow the orders of your spiritual master. She said, Prabhu, it's just too hard to do that. I said, somehow you must. So we communicated back and forth, and in a very short while she called me and said, you won't believe it, my father-in-law is dead. So I'm not telling you how to deal with your in-laws. But if you take shelter of Krishna, anything can happen. Now, this girl has her own flat with her husband and 2 babies. And I did a program in their house recently. The husband now is chanting. They have deities on their altar. So, if you have firm faith in the orders of the spiritual master and Krishna, and continue to follow under all circumstances. Some devotees have been put in prison, put in jail. We saw that play, you know, salted bread. So many things the devotees went through. But they kept their resolve to serve Krishna in their heart, in their minds. They can't take that away from you. They can take everything else away, but they can't take that away. And if you continue to take shelter of Krishna, I can tell you, you know, that, you know, you have to learn tolerance, Prabhu, and you can do all these things. Yes, those things are there also. But the most important thing is to have faith in Krishna and your orders of your spiritual master. You know, we saw even in Radharasi Bihari temple, that man who sold the property to Krishna, to Prabhupada, he was such a cheater. Huh? What did Lord Nrsingadev do to him? Huh? Same thing. Same thing. So I'm not advocating, please. No. I do have this kind of Kshatriya spirit, though. But that's not my first thought. My first thought is to, because I don't know, if I knew you, it might be my first thought. But my first thought is, if you have faith in your spiritual master's words and faith in Krishna's words, he says that if you surrender unto me, I'll protect you. Don't be afraid. We don't have to be afraid of our in-laws or our outlaws, anybody. We simply have to take shelter of Krishna and not be afraid and He'll protect you. Huh? We all have personal experience of that in our lives, if you think about it. Krishna has given us shelter, and He will protect you also. So, don't make that prayer to kill him now. You may not want to do that, but make the prayer that maybe he can become a devotee. Pray that somehow or another that this person can also come to devotional service. Because your first statement was, we all have divine and demoniac nature. So what you're seeing is just the demoniac side, but he also has divine side. So that side is there. So if you can leave Mahaprasad around, if he likes sweets, leave that around. Maybe they'll pick it up and eat it. Leave some books around, you know. And just, if you can't, don't stay around them. And just pray to Krishna to keep your orders, your vows to your spiritual master, and serve Krishna. That's all I can say. And who knows, they may either become a devotee, or we don't know what else Krishna might do to them. But it is there. We can take both sides. Right? So just pray to Krishna. You know, you read the Bhagavad Gita, you know that with tam tikshashva bharata, all that stuff is there. You have to learn tolerance, you have to learn control of your senses. Sometimes if you look, if there's a big problem, you might want to ask yourself, what is my part in the problem? Because we might be a big part in the problem also. Some of our demoniac qualities may be mixing with their qualities and causing some disturbance in the relationship. So we may want to call more upon our divine side. Huh? We know that Trinadapi, Sunichina, maybe you've tried all that. Some people you just cannot, no matter how low below the straw you get, it is very difficult. So you need to take shelter of Krishna and Guru, and they will help and protect you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. This question is for Her Grace Sukhawaha Mataji. It is said that we have to be enthusiastic and have proper service attitude while serving. I find that I have both enthusiasm and service attitude in the beginning. But I find it difficult to maintain these two things for a long period of time, especially when the same service extends for a very long period of time. What should I do to maintain the enthusiasm for a prolonged period of time?
So enthusiasm is one of the 6 major qualities of a devotee. And one of the ways that Maya can get us is the time factor, because anybody can be enthusiastic for a short period of time. Anyone can do some even great austerity for a short period of time. But then, as time goes on, then our mind says, oh, why am I doing all this? And this is so difficult, or this isn't any fun, or whatever our mind's telling us. So that's how Maya tries to get us to give up our service. So taking our service as a great privilege, if we really understand what it is to have the privilege of devotional service, and really taking that service as something special every day. Sometimes when we do something day after day after day after day, we think we're doing the same thing. I don't know. Take the service to, say we're cooking for the devotees every day. So, oh, I do this every day. I cook every day. But if we're taking it, if we're thinking about all that we did in the past, we're really not being in the present cooking for the devotees. If we're thinking, wow, there's devotees that I'm cooking for, but I don't know who I'm cooking for today. I don't know who's going to come to the temple. Who knows who may visit our temple? And we really do our service as if we've never done it before. One pujari told me a very interesting fact about Radha and Krishna. So Radha and Krishna, they perform the same activities over and over and over. We read the stories, we hear the pastimes. So why is it that it's Navayovanam? It's ever fresh. Why are they performing the same activities and it's ever fresh? And he told me it's because they don't remember that they did it. They're performing the activity like it's the very first time they ever had that pastime. And I thought, wow, that's really amazing. So if we can perform our service like it's the very first opportunity we've ever had to do devotional service, wow, I'm so lucky I get to cook for the devotees. I've been waiting for lifetimes to cook for the devotees. Wow, what an opportunity. And we cook like it's our very first opportunity, like we never had this opportunity before. And if we do that every single day, we can actually have new experiences every day. And it won't become repetitive, it won't become mechanical, it won't become boring. It will be Navayovana, it will be ever fresh. And we will see new people are coming, wow, I cooked for somebody new today that I didn't know. So Krishna is yet Navayovanam, and his service is Navayovanam, and Maya wants to make us think that it's all the same, and it's not. It's ever fresh every single day. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.